Oh, hello, good morning, sis. How are you?
Fine, thank you very
So
much.
good to see you. Hello, so good to see you. Oh,
Likewise.
here we are today. It's so good to have you. Um, Hello, viewers. My name is Abisola Oshoteku. I welcome you to Nigerians Awareness. We just come here together, just the way it sounds, our Nigerians Awareness, just us to come together and start thinking of home. Even Nigerians living in Nigeria, start thinking of home. What can I do to make my country better? And the diasporas, what can I do to make my country be a better place? Our country, Nigeria, that is what this program is all about. We come together, we share ideas. What's you living in, you as a diasporans, what are your skills? What have you learned? How can people back home benefit from what you have acquired here, what you have learned here? So that is what this program is all about. We just want to rub mind. And also my my NGO is, I'm in the process, we want to come together, just begin to do something. We don't want to talk anymore. We want to do now. So thank you, my sister. Could you please introduce yourself to our audience, please?
My name is Ese Adaka.
Okay, nice meeting you again. Nice seeing you. I know her, but
Also
anyway,
known
I
as
miss it.
Martha.
Yes, thank you.
Also
Thank
known
you
as
so.
Martha, just in case. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you. Sorry, excuse me. Yes, back to the business. How long have you been living in abroad?
Uh, Going on 20 years, just about 21 years now.
20 years. You know, just like my guests, people that I've interviewed, everyone is 20 years, 20 something years. I'm gonna be 21 years in few days. It's like 20 years, 20 years. And I was like, oh my goodness. Do
It's
you
gone
see
by
how we should
fast.
do this? It's such a long time,
It is a long time.
you
Just
know,
about 2 decades now.
2 decades. And I'd love to ask that question because it helps you to like, wow,
Yeah, you think.
I've spent this long. Just so I always love to hear that. So before you come to abroad, how what were you doing back home before you came to
I was
abroad?
in
What were you
university. Yeah, so I was in a university,
okay?
University of Benin. Yes.
Okay.
So before I got married.
Oh,
So I
okay.
met my husband. I got married and I came over to join.
Came over. Wow, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. That is good. And how often do you travel though? How often do you travel to Nigeria?
Well, I travel as much as I can, to be honest. Just
Mm.
about before the COVID, it was about maybe every 2 years.
Mm.
Because my whole family is there. I'm the only one
Wow.
that's left. So I have my mom. She's passed on now. So, but my
Mm.
dad, my siblings, cousins, aunties, everybody's back home. So I
Mm.
travel as often as I can.
Wow, that is good. I love to hear that, because sometimes you hear some people and say 15 years I've never been home. And you go like, "What? 15 years, 20 years they are here." They don't it's like, "I'm done." To be honest with you, I was like that. I was like that. I don't even think of home. At some point, I don't know where this sudden interest came from 9 years ago, 10 years ago. I started having this hunger of home. I started seeing things that I felt like this is not right. Can I do something? And you look at yourself and say, who are you? You ask yourself, who are you? What do you want to do? And that kept coming, and I will put it aside. And when you have that thing within you and you are sharing with people, and everybody is like, Nigeria. So I'm glad I finally take that courage to do this. So it's always good when I have, people talking to people, and I want to hear from them. What are your experience? How long have you been abroad? What are we thinking about home? And I love the way you said, every 2 years before COVID, you guys go home, which is awesome, because it is when you go that you will know what is going on there.
That's true. That's very true.
Yes. And whenever you go back home, how do you feel? Are you happy with the, maybe the roles, everything that is going on, the people? What are your views?
Yeah.
How do you
Honestly,
see things?
I'm from Delta, so
Okay.
I originally come from Saple. That's where I was born
Okay.
in Delta State, and
Hmm.
so we have to pass through Lagos. I stayed in
Hmm.
Lagos, so
Yeah.
I won't call myself a Lagosian, but I love Lagos. I schooled in Lagos, but passing through, obviously, you land. I think my expectations. I don't have a lot, to be honest.
Hmm.
But when I come, the little changes I see, even before I left, the mobile phone wasn't, we didn't have any,
Yeah, I'm
still
the
the
same.
landline
Yes.
and things like that. So those little changes going back encouraged me
Hmm.
that there's progress
That's good.
coming to the country. So I saw it as a development, even if we
Hmm.
wanted to be as fast as it is over in
Hmm.
West. Reality is that it's not going to be that way.
Hmm.
The power failure is still an issue.
Hmm.
Was always is still there. Don't know if it's ever going to go away. The roads, it depends
Hmm.
on which state you're passing through. In my
Hmm.
state, we were lucky to have a governor who did his best. So
That's
as a
good.
child, there were roads that I couldn't access
Hmm.
as a child. Even cars, we didn't even know. We didn't think there were roads. We just thought there were pathways. But on
Hmm.
going back my first time, there were roads. So I was so
Oh, I
excited.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
there was so much joy. I could go through this way. Even schools I went to, I could drive in front of the school now
Woohoo!
as a young child. So that there was progress in that. But the sad side of it was because I've always had a interest with children,
Hmm.
and um, going back to the primary school, my mother was a teacher.
Hmm.
So as a little girl, I used to go to school with her. She was a headmistress. So at times when I'm off or not able to go to school, I go in with her and I go to the classrooms. I spend time. So we passed through so many different schools,
Hmm.
and going back to those schools, just memory lane, the public schools, the ones run
Hmm.
by the government, those were
Hmm.
non-existent anymore. I think that
Hmm.
was the only sad thing I remembered.
Hmm.
The first time
Hmm.
I went back, those schools were it was bad. It was bad
Hmm.
seeing those students in that condition. And to be fair, that hasn't changed. And what I also
Yeah.
noticed was there were more private schools.
Hmm.
So, as opposed to you sending your child to a public school, many parents are opting to sending their children to
To
private school,
private school. Hmm.
regardless. And they were more, they wanted the children to have more of a foreign curriculum. So the school might be a
Hmm.
British school or
Hmm.
an American school. And
Hmm.
if you're teaching anything else, they didn't want their children to be
Hmm.
part of it. I understood where they were coming from because the
Yeah.
world was changing. It was sad
Yeah.
to see that.
Yeah.
And the hospital, the general hospital, was bad because as a
Very.
child, that was where I was when I was sick. Because I was very sickly. General
Hmm.
hospital was the best.
Yes.
So going back, in short, you're being warned. Don't even go there.
Hmm.
It was bad. So those
That's
were the
sad.
two major things that I noticed
Hmm.
going back.
Hmm. And that, oh my goodness, that is huge. I always say that if any any leaders, any government want to destroy any nation, let them take education away. Once the education is being taken away, nothing, because people needs to be,
Correct.
is you have to learn. So, but once that is taken away, it's like it's like taking your hair away.
The self self destruct button because what you've done, you're just going to finish it all
Yes,
over. Because the children, they grow up not knowing, not having any zeal, not having any purpose, not knowing what to do,
that's
not
it.
having a future really. So they
Yeah.
literally put the country
And
in
some parents
tatters.
cannot even afford all these private schools. With one of my guests, I was telling her, I said, you know, our education sector, it is, pardon me to use this, like, it is rubbish now.
The public,
The
yes,
public school, it is
public,
basically gone now. And I was saying, I was like, What if we, because you said you attend those schools. I attend public school and it was fantastic.
There were good memories.
You know, it was
And I
fantastic.
learned, and yeah, we did learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and suddenly those things are not there. And as I mentioned with one of my guests, I said, it's as if we Nigerians, we rejoice over our government failures because everybody is private school, because they want to get money through it. People don't think like this is our thing. It's going, it's being destroyed. What can we do to bring it back to life? So everybody's just like, oh, the education sector is failed. Let me quickly have my school. I don't know about your in your state, but in Lagos State, I'm in Lagosian. In Lagos State, you will see even kiosks. People will just gather people together and call it nursery.
Yes, you could actually say that that's what's happening now in my state. Nearly every street you find
nearly every
the same way
street.
you find a church, same way you find
the school, and you go
really,
like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, and it's not properly arranged. They are not well taught. Everything is just all over the place. So that is what I was saying. That is where this program comes. That's why we should start thinking. We have great teachers here that are Nigerians. Imagine lots of teachers, thousands of teachers, let's say 1,000, 2,000. It's not impossible. Come, you go there, spend 1 week. You are just going there to assist. A group of 20 people, or let's say 50 people, go 1 week, spend just 1 week, assist, put them through, tell them things, children that cannot meet up with some things, how they could do well and all that, just to help, because we have great teachers back home.
Yes, we do. And I'm
we
glad
have great teachers back home. They just
there
need.
There are many people who don't believe we have good teachers.
We have good teachers.
Coming from a family where my mother was a teacher, my aunt is actress. One of my aunts owns the school. It's something it's something we have a passion for in my family. So they genuinely have good teachers.
Yes.
You're right. What's lacking is the training, because obviously the coming here and tutoring my children and just having a little bit of awareness of the educational system here. The issues we had back home were just lack of training, in the sense that in the classroom where things like dyslexia was not quickly caught up, so some children suffered.
You see?
Some children had, and then, the system was, if you fail the exam, you don't move to the next class. So you have a child who had to repeat over and over.
Over and over. I was one of them. Yes.
The real issue wasn't dealt with because they had no knowledge of what the problem really was. That happened here.
Yeah.
Because they would have found out what's making the child. It's not necessarily they don't want to learn.
Yeah.
They're not just assimilating that. They're not just learning as fast as they could compared to other children. But we didn't. Back then, there was no teacher who would come up to say, you know what, I'm going to isolate this child, teach this child.
I love that. Can you hear that?
They didn't have the training for that. So instead, that child was tagged as
dollar. Yeah.
Dons.
Dons, yeah.
We as children mimicked and just continued. But it was fair on those children because they had dyslexia, maybe they just slow learners, maybe they assimilate as fast as others could assimilate. And so that was one issue I realized too was a problem. Coming here and sitting back here and saying, you know what, I feel so sad. There's so many of my friends in school that they're not dull. Maybe they just had dyslexia.
That is it. And you can only identify that because you are being trained.
Yes, that's true.
That is why I said everyone, I don't know who will be watching this. If you are a teacher or you have all these skills, all this learning, look at, we're doing this via Zoom. Imagine you just educating teachers about what you just tell me now. Just say this child.
Find these children, capture
them,
and be able to diagnose this is what the problem is. And
you see,
you isolating them or making them feel that they are not able to, It's just meeting them at the point of their needs, trying
Yeah,
to create a curriculum that is actually for them and working with them at the
that's
pace
it.
they're able to. But that's not how it is. In a classroom, it's just like the test the children have to take to get into a class. So I still think that's still not fair too.
It's
Coming here,
not.
I realize it's
It's
still
not.
not fair.
It's not
Uh,
fair.
because
Yes.
on a good day, that child might just have had a bad day before they go and sit for the test. Cannot pass the test.
There's nothing like bad day with teachers in Nigeria.
No, no, no.
No.
So they may not pass
When
the
you're
test.
coming to school, you come with your best behavior.
Yes, yes. You have to
Teacher in
learn.
Nigerians will not reason with you that, oh,
Yeah.
it's because you're having a bad day.
No.
But those are the trainings we've been through here. Those are the trainings you've got on the go here. You know, you've been taught if a child is doing this, probably this is what is going on. And how can you help that child that is going through that? You know, I always say, you know, teaching is not about you having that certificate. It's a continuous learning. There's so many other factors that is attached to teaching to get the best of it, you know. So and I love that. To be honest, that is great. So I'm looking forward to see thousands of diasporas who are teachers that will come together, will say, okay, 50 of us will be going different states. You are not going there to boss anybody. No, it's just to give that free, you know, that free, what you have learned here, that free skills that you have learned here.
Can I also stress that by doing that, it would be fair if you also meet the teachers where they are, because
I
um,
love that.
a barrier might be formed in the sense that if they think, you know how Africans think, that you're coming in to tell them what to do, that might
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I
so,
say you are going there to assist them. You are
yeah,
not
meet
going
them
there
where
to
they
boss
are.
them. Meet
Yeah,
them where they are.
where they are. And
You are not
see,
going there to say, this is the way we do abroad. No, no,
no,
no, no,
you
no,
want
no.
that
Where
impact
they are. I love that.
where they are.
You
Because
know, and
if
you will
they
be
want to
able
take
to
away
work
approach,
together that way
yes, yes,
because you are
you
able to
achieve more.
reason with them.
Yeah, you achieve more, and they'll be willing to learn. They want to, because many of the time it's just a situation where they don't have enough
Yes.
training, they don't have enough equipment to use. They want to
Hmm.
do these things, and they are not
Yeah.
paid. Obviously, their salary is another issue entirely.
Yeah.
Going to that one, but at times that's what stops the children from being taught. Just the fact
Hmm.
that the teachers are not being paid
Hmm.
enough money for them
Hmm.
to do their job properly.
Yeah.
So hence they have to find other means of making money, which takes them away from the classroom
Yeah.
or which doesn't make them burdened. Because
Yeah.
automatically signs, what am I doing here when I'm not being paid properly?
Hmm. Please speak a little bit louder.
Okay,
Sorry.
sorry. So
Okay,
they'll feel
sorry.
that
Yeah.
there's no need to work hard when they're not being paid the
Yes.
right amount
Hmm.
or paid on time too.
Yeah.
So there are really so many other issues that has to be dealt with before.
Yeah. In fact, a lot have to be dealt with because your salary, you want to work, and the reason you're working, despite the fact that you have passion for that job, the reason you're working is to be able to, you know, to earn your
Sustain
money,
themselves.
you know, to sustain yourself. And if that is not there, your whole attention cannot be there,
No,
you
you're
know.
focused at
uh,
all.
it cannot be there. And that still go back to, even despite the fact that in that area, it's actually is government that can solve that issue.
It is. I totally agree with that.
You
That's
know,
where
it's government that can
the
solve that
question of
issue. You know,
government
is a you know that area belongs to the government. You know, to say our teachers have to be strengthened. They, you know, they need to be catered for. You know, you need to pay them their salary. If anybody works, they want to, you know, they want to, at the end of the month, they want to go home with their salary, you know. And that is where I'm saying that maybe we should start caring for each other more. Imagine parents are coming and say, oh, you guys have not been paid. How can we help? One of my guests is saying, imagine instead of while we are waiting for the government to pay their salary, imagine parents comes and say, here is 1,000, here is 500, here is this, here is that. Share it among yourself. Let's keep sustaining each other till things go well. the government is still going to, but to just show to those teachers that we appreciate you. We know you have not been paid. We appreciate you, but why you are still waiting for the government, we want to assist with this.
That's why many of them do extra curriculum activities. They teach
You see,
outside. So
yes,
that's another way
to
parents
catch
help them
up,
to support, yeah,
to support themselves, to sustain, you know. So it's a very big issue. Personally, in education, health sector, those two, I have huge passion for it, because I believe if our education system is strong, our health sector is wonderful, you know, things will start getting moving, you know, we'll start getting better and better and better. So sis, what do you do for a living here, your occupation here?
I'm a specialist support worker. So I work with children who are disabled.
I love that.
So more of the autistic
Hmm.
spectrum, which is
Hmm.
interesting. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh my goodness, that back home is hot cake.
It is
Hot cake.
some states is non-existent, and in some states it does exist. But my interest in that was a result of we had a neighbor. It's only when I came here again I understood what the problem was. And being
Hmm.
a child, because my mom taught, I always wanted to teach. So we used to, after school, when I've done my lesson and my neighbors will all play, I had a small room which I would gather them all, sit down, and I start
Hmm.
teaching. And there were two of my neighbors' children who, as much as I taught them, they just didn't get it.
Hmm.
And I never understood why they wouldn't get it. It's just 1 plus 1. And
Wow.
come back tomorrow, it's just 1 plus 1. So, but I
Hmm.
didn't have any adult to ask.
That's
And nobody
us.
told me what the problem was. So over as we grew older, we were still friends. But I
Wow.
realized they dropped out of school. And
Hmm.
I remember one of them, the father used to beat him so much because he just didn't pass.
Wow.
It was always the last in class. Um, but after a while, he just gave up on school. So he
Wow.
wasn't interested
It
anymore.
became, we'll be frustrated.
Yes, he was frustrated. So
Hmm.
coming here and being exposed to the educational system here and having the privilege of tutoring my own children, I started learning and realized that,
Hmm.
oops, oh, okay,
Hmm.
because there were five of these children, and I
Hmm.
realized that one had autism, one
Hmm.
had Down syndrome. It was just a mixture of different issues that they
Hmm.
had, and I used to sit down and say, oh my goodness, these children grew up feeling that they didn't know anything. But that wasn't the
Hmm.
case. They actually had uh, disabilities that made
Yes.
them not be able to do, and if only we could
And
have
they were not diagnosed.
no, they were not. Obviously, so now many of them are not still diagnosed. But I think that made me interested in that
Hmm. Hmm.
area. So you know,
You see, your country needs you.
what can what can be done? What way can one step in to make a difference?
Hmm.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know how many there are back home. I won't say I've done my research well enough.
Hmm.
They're not necessarily very. They're not everywhere. You don't see them. I
Hmm.
believe many parents hide them at home.
Yeah.
Growing up as a child, I could never count maybe more to two or three. But as I grew older, I started hearing. I think that's another reason why I started being more interested. I heard horror stories of parents literally killing these children because of the shame
Hmm.
that they were going through.
Sorry, I can't really hear you again.
I heard
Sorry.
of parents killing these children because of the shame
Hmm.
of having a
Wow.
child like that. And it had nothing to do with the child. It was just
Wow.
the child who
That's
suffered
sad.
as they should.
That is
So
sad.
hence my interest in that field, just to learn as much as I can. And God willing, one day to go back and see. But to be fair, there are schools opening now for children with disabilities, which is a
Hmm.
plus. At least I know in
Yeah.
my state.
Yeah. It's just that we don't have a lot of it.
No, we don't have,
Yeah.
and you have to have the money to access these schools.
That's right.
They're private schools.
Hmm.
The public sector has nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. They're all private.
So nothing in public sector, no?
No, no, no. So the children are at home.
Imagine.
Wow, there's nothing.
Imagine all the alakaras, all these people who cannot even, you know, afford 3 square meal, and they have this kind of children or child, what will happen to them? So that's why I just say we can't fold our hands anymore, sis. We need to start doing, you know, we need to start doing something. I'm not looking for as much as I desire a quick change, I know this kind of a thing that we're discussing now is not a quick change. It takes work, you know. Yes. So you know, and you can only get better when we start. Because if you have not started, you don't know how am I going to approach this? Because all what you are saying now, to be honest, they need that skills back home. Even not just the teachers, even the parents needs to be educated.
Just an awareness to the parents.
Awareness.
It's not
you know, just to educate the parents as well. Like, okay, this is what is going on with your child.
And this is how.
And that will give peace of mind and tell them there's nothing to be ashamed of. You have not done anything wrong.
Because that's where the stigma is. So
that's where the stigma is.
Yeah. So,
you know, when you say to them, you've not done anything wrong, and you just educate those parents.
Many of these children have been taken to churches to cast out demons. They go through a lot. They do.
Can you imagine cast out demons? Can you just imagine that?
The demon that is affecting the child, that they want to make that child go through things.
That is very sad. It's very, very sad to know. It's very, very sad. I just hope, as I've been saying to every one of you, have it in mind. We are going home. We are going home to make a change. People have been doing it. And I always saying, it is not enough. We don't even have up to 2 million charity organization.
Yeah.
We don't have. And we're talking about 200 million people here. 200 million people. And you're saying, oh, this have been doing that. You only have about maybe 100,000 or less than 100,000 people.
Yeah, it's a very big country. And
it is.
Help ends in a particular state. Not necessarily, it doesn't feed to the other states. So as much as you see on the news that this is happening in Nigeria, it might just be only that state.
That is it.
There are so many other states that nothing happens. And
yes.
They live as if they are still back in the ages. When you go, you'll be surprised. Apart from the fact that maybe some of the children who's gone abroad come back and build big houses. The facilities for the villagers or for the citizens in that state to live by, they don't have.
They don't have it.
They don't have
and I love what you said, that people, we just go back home, you build houses, you have your cars.
Yeah,
no.
That's it.
We can't do that anymore.
They go back, build this house, but when they're sick, they can't even trust the hospitals in that town to take care of them. So there's no point. There's no point having a house. When
God bless you.
Have malaria or typhoid, you're not comfortable for the doctor to treat you. There's no point for that. So when you even to drink the water, you don't trust the drinking water itself.
Yes.
There's no point having a house where you can't even drink the tap water coming through. Or the bottled water, you're not sure because you don't trust the company who's made them. So it's not about
we all just go. Oh my goodness. I love that angle that you just mentioned now. We all go back home, we build those big houses, forgetting that if you have malaria, you will be taken to the hospital.
Yeah.
And you cannot even access that hospital to get that best care you require.
They will either diagnose you wrongly.
You cannot even drink the water of the village, of the city that you know.
Yeah.
So we should start thinking of home. We cannot ignore anymore. Honestly, we can't. We can't ignore anymore. I always say, people always say, oh, we have a bad government. Of course, we all know this. It's no longer a speech or whatever. We all know this. It's written all over everybody. It's written all over the country that we need a better, government. But then, what are we doing as a citizen? If everyone is thinking just what you said now and saying, okay, I want to build this house, what is going on in my community? What is the healthcare sector doing? What is the teachers? What is this? What is that? How can I help people? How can I bring people up?
Or can you
You
today
know,
just make a relief uh, the people?
I always say to,
Just it's a
yeah,
small role. You don't have to announce. It's a ripple effect. I believe that if I help, just obviously, as God is faithful, the children I grew up with were all adults, now, obviously, in our homes, but they're all doing well. So that was the
hmm,
grace of God. Yeah, but there's still children still growing up in in that house that I stayed. And even if it's just that house, if I take responsibility for every child who is not able to have proper education or access good health, or
hmm,
when they finish education can't even get a good job, so try and say,
hmm,
what do you want to do? Even if I'm just focused on that house alone, or maybe
hmm,
there are 5, 6 children in that compound,
hmm.
I believe that I can make a difference. That's always my personal belief, that we're not asking you to feed the whole village. We're asking you to just
Yes.
go in your own home,
Hmm,
and don't give up on them. I know
hmm,
out of frustration, many of because that's another thing back home. Because when you
hmm,
go back, they'll say, "Oh, all the teenagers, all the young adults, they're very useless. You can't trust them." I guess it's true, but to a certain
hmm,
point, you have to actually understand what the real issue is.
hmm.
You understand? If you listen to their
Yes,
stories and see where they're coming from, and
that's right.
understand that many of them really, really have learning disability. I believe that's a big issue. So
Hmm,
they couldn't finish school. Even when they finish school, because they paid lecturers to get their certificates,
hmm,
they can't even write like a business plan or a project for you. And the university graduates. So you start asking the question, is everything
what are
okay?
they teaching?
Yeah.
What have they learned?
What have they learned? Were they able to assimilate what they've learned? That's another question entirely. They
Oof.
just push through the university because
Yeah,
obviously they pay lecturers to get that score. But maybe they
yes.
had underlying issues that hasn't been dealt with.
Hmm.
Trauma, that's another issue we don't talk about in Nigeria. We
Wow.
psychological traumas where a child can be affected by things. I grew up in a community where when you see people fighting or families fighting, it leaves scars, or maybe we had them then, it was armed robbers coming into the homes. As a child, that affected me for years. It was coming here that I was able to deal with that, come out of that fear, because you are who you are based on the family. I believe that too. Your background defines who you are. The community, the home you grew up with, defines how your marriage will be,
Hmm.
defines what career path you will take, defines how you're going to raise your children. So it's not just saying, oh, all of this back home are useless. It's saying, which is a big task, meeting
Hmm.
each one, being a person centered and saying, what really is the problem? Going back
Hmm.
to the past and
Hmm.
saying, oh, this is where you are now, trying to give them a structure to navigate them out of that. Because to them, they're going around in circles.
Yeah.
They're really going around in circles. They want to, I don't think any human is happy in a situation,
Who
in a
they
world
are.
where there's no hope. Everybody
Yes.
wants to come out, but when your hands are tied, when you don't even know what the problem is, and when you keep on blaming ancestral causes and demons and everything, you don't see a way out. No matter how much you bind and kill those things, you're still there because the real
Hmm.
issue has not been dealt with. And again, I agree with you. They need to go back. Many of us need to go back
Yes.
to train these people, to train individuals who are in leadership there to say, you know what, maybe we should. We've gone about it this way, it hasn't worked.
Hmm.
Maybe we should try this method. Maybe
Exactly.
we should go about it this way. Maybe we should not give up on them as opposed to retrain them, see what the problem is, and meet them
Yeah.
where they are and try to take them
God
out of
bless you.
that.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Honestly, I'm so happy that we're having this conversation. And people don't know, I was talking to a colleague and she was like, I was just showing her the YouTube channel. I was like, oh, I was just telling her because now everybody that I come across, especially once you're in Nigeria, I just want to tell you about what I'm doing. My vision. This is where she said, oh, everybody is doing that. That country can never be good again. And I said to her, I said, when we all comes here, when we came in here into wherever you are, Canada, America, whatever, What we are enjoying, some people sacrifice for it.
That's true.
Some people, stood their ground. They are like, no, we are making this work. If we were to ask so many people that come here maybe 60 years ago or whatever, or 40 years ago, they would tell you things they've been through.
That's true.
And if we can endure here to make our life the way it is now, why can we not just start thinking and said, okay, even if it's just a little thing, just what you said, from your own community. We are not saying you should go there, start feeding 200 million people. No, from your own small circle, start educating them, start doing something little by little. Start, even not just diaspora, even you that you are living in Nigeria, start thinking, okay, I have a driver, he has a family. You are paying them 20,000 naira and you can afford to give them 50,000 naira. And because that one did not have option, we stay with you with 20,000 naira. And you are earning millions. That greed, we are not thinking of others. Because when we talk about, it's government, our government is bad, our government is this, we as a citizen, we have a lot to do. We as a citizen, we have a lot to do. Okay, sis, that's why I always say to people that we cannot ignore anymore. You hear some people are saying, a lot of people are doing it, there's no need for it or something like that. There is a huge need for it. If things have not changed, you will continue to give and give. Imagine we are all in this developed country and there's still thousands of charity.
Yes, that's true.
That's thousands.
I totally agree with you. It's in nearly every borough, nearly every town, there is a charity for animals,
Yes.
and even as animals, for crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You
have for name it, for nearly every illness, you have a charity
you have a charity for it. Some people, hey,
women's
oh
hygiene.
my goodness.
You don't know where
Imagine.
to start from.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. And back
Yes.
home, you have the odd one, two. I grew up knowing that there's for abandoned children.
Hmm.
So that was the only one I knew before I left.
Hmm.
Going back, there's quite a few now for the blind, for deaf and dumb.
Hmm.
Then you have the food banks
Hmm.
popping up, which is a good thing.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So you
That's
have
good.
many people from the diaspora going back to open this.
I
You have
love
for
that.
even for some, because my mom before she passed on, there used to be a doctor who goes back to the Delta State to do
Hmm.
cataract surgeries.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that was in Asaba, if I'm not wrong. And it charged only, I think, up to one quarter of the price in which to,
Ooh, I
and that
love that.
included the hospital admission for 3 days,
Hmm.
and including the surgery. And
You
so
see?
I think it came every year or 2 years. So you had a waiting list of people coming in, which it was a good thing. It was to me. So my
It
aunties
is,
went through that. My
it
mom
is
went through that.
awesome. Not just good. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Because imagine I will say to you, Nigerian doctors living outside Nigerians, they are thousands.
Yeah.
Imagine 500 of him like that in Nigeria. Just 500 of him in Nigeria. We will be doing great. That have such a heart that is not about money, that I
Get
just want to
good
give
ones.
to my people.
Get good ones. You have people. It's just that one thing again with Nigeria, the media back home, it's only the bad things that are being shown.
That circulates.
Yeah. So there are little things I tell you in pockets in that country that what people are doing. It's not only those from diaspora going back, the individuals,
Living
citizens
in
themselves there,
Nigeria.
yeah, that will blow you away. And it's
Hmm.
hope. It gives you hope that you
Yes.
know what, not everybody has turned their back. You have people who
Yes.
know their brother's keeper.
Yeah.
Problem is that
Yes.
you hardly hear about them. It's only
Yes.
people who benefited from what they've done that will go back and
That knows
give
about them.
the
Hmm.
testimony.
And that's one of the thing behind this YouTube, because sometimes you wear some things on social media and they say, oh, if you help people, you don't need to bring it out, just do it. I said, it's not about you showing off, it's about to encourage others. Some people could be thinking, oh, I want to do this, I don't know how to go about it. But by the time you come out and you talk about it, it's like, yes, that is it, I will love to do that.
And so people need people to, they just want to, not everybody can be hands on in the sense that not everybody has the ability or the
Ability, the time.
or time or even have people who are there to help them do these things. Many
Yes.
people are more comfortable investing in
Yeah.
somebody who already is established, who knows
Yes.
exactly what they're doing,
That's
and say, you
right.
know what, I believe in what you're doing, I believe in your cause, and I'm going to
Yes.
invest. How can I help? What can I do? So again, social media, if that's what we show on social media daily, I believe that's another way of helping the country. Just to,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's one charity you focus on, they don't call them charities, they just call them people helping because it's obviously a small organization or somebody,
Mm.
an individual who's helping.
Mm.
But if you're just showing
They
one
call
a
them
day,
what again? Sorry.
I said they don't call them charities because it's not something we're used to back home. It's
Back
probably
home.
an individual who just decided to open their home or open their
Okay,
hands
okay,
to
okay. I
help.
get, yes,
If they're
yes.
being shown one every day
Hmm.
to say this person for the
Hmm.
past 2-3 years is supporting
This,
this,
yeah, yes.
yeah, just it's amazing how people will start saying, you know what, I might not be
Hmm.
able to do what you're doing, but you know what, I don't mind
Mm-hmm.
giving this amount every month just to
That's
support
right.
them for what they're
That's
doing.
right. We,
So
we,
that's
we
where the
do it
social
here
media
as well. We
comes
do
from.
it here.
Yeah.
I attend Sherry's conference and they will bring pictures and say, okay, do you want to sponsor this person? And the funny thing is, these are children from Africa,
Which is sad. That's
which is really
I feel
sad.
very so.
So there is a lot of people, people are doing this, the charity thing. Even my friend, the mom, she came to Canada. This is a woman of 80 something. And our friend also went to America to go and do Omugo. And the next thing is this woman just realized that the children are participating in food banking and all that. Do you know? The two came together. They are doing their own thing. They will just gather people of their age or way younger and feed them, educate them, talk together, just form their own garden. I was like, this is beautiful.
That's all
You
it
know,
takes. Yeah,
that's all it takes. You don't need to have a big name to make a change.
yeah. Just a
You,
little in your community, in your circle of
that's it.
influence, those you can
That,
change, and it ripple
that's just
effect.
it. That's just it. And I was like, I wish people to start thinking of this. You know what, sis? This everything we've said so far, it's been very fantastic. I love all what you have been saying. I wish people could start acting rather than talking. Don't wait until you have that million before you are making an impact. It could just be just one person, just one person. And that one person that you make the life so comfortable, we could affect thousands.
That's true. That's true.
Because when you do some things, you might just be focusing on that person, but you don't know how far what you're doing could go. So we should all start thinking wherever you are all over the world. Let us start thinking. Don't think, oh, this have been doing that, do I need to do it? Oh, I need to have 1 million or whatever million naira to help
Just
people.
little bits
Just a
you
little
have
bit.
and you keep. You might
Yes.
dedicate a certain amount every month and
Hmm.
say at the end of the year, I've gathered this amount. What can I do? Little
What
bit.
can I do?
I have a passion for young girls and when it comes to their sanitary hygiene, only
Hmm.
because I went to a secondary school and I knew how
Yeah, I can't hear
important.
you again. Sorry, sis.
Um, I have a passion for young girls with their sanitary hygiene, the period,
Yes.
and only because I went to boarding school back home in Nigeria and
Hmm.
the way things were um, before you even come on to your monthly, your pads have been stolen.
Hmm.
So everybody was trying to survive. So when it's time for your monthly, you have no sanitary towel to use, and even the ones they were using, it wasn't the best. It was like cotton wool. I mean, it's degraded.
Wow.
Was a mess. So
Wow.
you see that 3 to 4 days. We now tended to stay in the
Hmm.
hostel as opposed to going to class. So we missed class a lot.
Hmm.
And even when they forced us to go to the hostel, you see us running back embarrassed because we stained our skirts, soiled our
Hmm.
clothes. So
Oh.
so that and you're in school for 3 months. So 3 days out of that 3 months, you dread, literally, you
Oh.
dread it. But it's
Oh.
inevitable. We're young teenagers growing up. We had to pass through. So I left
Oh.
that. I think that left a mark in my head. And said, you know
Hmm.
what? If anything I can do, I will do, just to help young teenagers. I mean, yeah. And when I came here, I was surprised that
Hmm.
uh, they call it red drop, but the government has taken over it now.
Hmm.
It was a mother who had this issue and felt that there were people here who couldn't afford to buy sanitary towel. At
Hmm.
first, I was surprised. I said, no, it's
Hmm.
not possible. But it's true. There are
Wow.
people who live below the income and can't afford to buy sanitary towel. So you had mothers having to choose sanitary towel or food. But luckily, we
Wow.
have food banks now that they can go into
They
and
can go
collect
and
this.
eat.
But
Hmm.
before
They
before
take
food
something.
bank came,
Hmm.
that was an issue. So she now set up a box, a red
Hmm.
box, in schools. She went around the schools and spoke to the headmistresses, and they put a red box. And the red box where mothers voluntarily put in sanitary towels in the box.
Wow.
So when any of the young girls came on in class, they could just easily walk to the nurse's room and get a pack of towels.
Wow.
Which I felt, you know what, that's genius.
It
That's
is. It
it's
is.
simple, but it's effective.
It is.
And she was looking for people who volunteer for her cause. And some mothers who will go to different schools to say, no, I'm the one in charge of this red box. You don't do
Hmm.
anything. You just take the red box there and make
Hmm.
sure there's always sanitary towel inside. So
Wow.
encourage other mothers that maybe when you're buying for the one, buy two instead of one, and drop one in the box. And I
That's
thought
fantastic.
it's because that's again it's a stigma back home. So when I
Hmm.
see people give food banks back home, I always wonder. I say, so you're giving them all this food and everything. When it comes to their monthly, because it's expensive, it's always baffled me. A pack of sanitary towel back home, some girls can't afford it. It's almost a thousand
Hmm.
five hundred to buy the
Hmm.
good one. That's always.
Hmm. Wow.
And luckily, we have so many companies owned by Nigerians who are now making these pads, but it's still not accessible
Hmm.
for somebody for a mother who has maybe 3 girls and has to
Hmm.
decide, should I buy Gary or should I buy
Or she buy pad.
this?
Hmm.
And so ends they use rags or cloth or tissue paper. But I also heard a couple of years ago, I came across a lady who did she's an anthropologist in Nigeria, and she did a research and she found that many of these young girls, um, they had pimps approaching them and saying, you know what, I will buy this sanitary towel for you, and but you have to be my girlfriend.
Hmm.
So they were not going into sexual relationships with these men with the
Hmm.
promise of sanitary towel at the end of the month. And the shock on my face was, it's just 1,500 for crying out loud.
Wow.
Would that really happen? And she said yes when she did her research. That was the problem. So many
I
of these
wouldn't have
girls,
ever. Oh my goodness. I never imagined what you were just saying now, to
yeah,
be
it
honest.
really shocked me. And she had to step in. She's doing what she can. But I said, it's not a lot to do. If we save every month and say, you know what, I'm not saying you can't do the whole country, but you can do one
No.
school. You should
Yes.
focus on one school. That at the
Hmm.
end of the month, that school, you could say, you know what, I'm going to deliver 100 pounds to
Wow.
that school and say,
God bless you.
speak to the
That is
headmistress
awesome.
and say, you know what, just give every girl who says they're on their periods 1 pound. That covers them for that month. They don't have to worry. They don't have to.
Yes.
Where will I get it from? Oh, my mother can. And the public schools, especially the public schools, the
Hmm.
private ones, you could say argue.
You could be, maybe could be able to afford it.
Yeah, it's still an argument. We don't know yet. But for the public schools, you know it's an issue. And say, you know what, and teach them how to look after themselves, how to care for themselves. Because many of them just see their periods. They still don't know how to care and be hygienic during that period. So say, you know what, this is what you do. This, or even if there's an issue, maybe they have smell, they don't understand, or they don't know. They just continue life like that.
Hmm.
There's a problem here, you see the doctor, this might be an underlying issue that has to be dealt with. So it's just little things like that. That again, I applaud your program for trying to elaborate
Thank you.
and encourage people to say, you know what, you can do it. It won't
Yes.
cost £100 a month to just take
Yes.
from one school, a public school,
Yes.
to say, speak to the headmistress, to say, you know what, this is what I pledge. Now every month, you don't have to be there.
Yes.
Someone will bring in this. If you contact the companies who sell these sanitary towels themselves,
And they will
they will
supply.
deliver. Yeah, they will
That's
deliver
right.
and say this is it. If they want them to take pictures to send to you, they will do that.
We did, and I'm glad with the technology now.
Yeah, they will do
You
that.
don't have to be there.
No,
And
during
wonders will
the
happen.
assembly
Yeah.
time, the girls are all giving a pack of or
Yeah.
two of sanitary towels to last
That's
them for the month.
fantastic.
That's all. That
That's
won't
all.
take you 30 minutes of your time.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not about looking at, oh, I need 1 million or 2 million. No, that will
No.
cost up to 100,000, probably less, really less.
Yes.
To do, say, okay, I can do every December or every January,
Yeah.
or pick a
Yeah.
month that you
That's
think is so.
fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Can you hear that, guys? You know, just little thing. And to be honest, I never thought of that. Little, just small thing as sanitary pad, just pad
Yeah,
for the girls. Take it to school, and you know, you don't know the damage that could do to any girl who have a huge stain.
it's true. It's true. The shame.
For the shame, it could affect their self-esteem for a long time.
It does. It does.
Or every month, just what you said, like you will be thinking, oh, for those 3 days during your time, that
Yeah.
oh, these 3 days should just go by.
Dreaded.
Should just, imagine. So you are lucky. Even at your age, you still flash back to those incidents like,
I remember.
I don't
Yes,
want
I
any
do. I
girl
remember.
to go
Yeah.
through this
Yeah.
again.
It was a horrible time. That's why, if you noticed earlier, I talked about trauma people go through. It affects people differently. Some people will look at it and it never affected them. But for a young girl who was shy, who was trying to blend in, to make friends,
Hmm.
to be part of the peer group, and you're in a classroom and you stand up and everybody starts pointing, laughing at you. The distance from the classroom to the hostel is the distance. So you
Wow.
see running, and because you don't want people to see people to see, then you go to class, then
Oh.
the teachers will think you don't want to stay in their lesson, but that's not the case. If it's a male teacher, it's even worse. How would you explain? Then the shy, then we're young teenagers, we're growing, we're in 16, 17, with their male teachers in school. That is the last thing you want a male
You
teacher to
want
do.
exactly,
Then
exactly.
to see, well, you don't have a choice. Your pads have
Hmm.
been stolen, or they're not enough,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah.
they left out just
Hmm.
using a cloth
That,
or
that
a
that
rag
that is fantastic. To
or
be
tissue
honest,
paper.
I never. I've learned another thing today. I never thought of that. That is fantastic. And oh my goodness, I can't say this enough. Whatever you think, no. I always say to people, nothing. There is no idea that you have that you think is not useful back home.
Very true. Very true.
Because the human being lives here, human being lives back home.
Very true.
You get what I mean? So I don't know, when we start thinking of each other, how we can look after. And I love the way you said that it's not people in diaspora, even people back home. People are doing wonders. I'm now, because I'm now into this program, I'm searching for a lot of people who is doing something similar, or people who are doing it. Even people living in Nigeria, I'm now into their social media, know what they are doing, even Nigerians living in Nigeria, they are doing fantastic work. Is the only thing that I notice they do most is food.
Yes, because that's a very big issue.
Yes, it's
Prices of
food.
food is so
Yeah,
high that if a man doesn't eat, everything else
crumbles.
yes, yes. So
So I
I
can see that
truly
it's more of,
applaud them
yes,
for what they're doing
food,
at that
food. I see that
area.
some of them will go with thousands, 2,000, just feed
Yes.
people. All these things are good.
Well,
It means you are, you are looking after some other, human being like you. So I just want us to see, we're going to round on now, coming to the end of the program. I just want everybody to start thinking, start having that awareness that I am comfortable. What about people around me? When we start thinking of people around us, it makes life easy. Think about your domestic staff. What are you doing to help their life?
that's true.
Look at those little people, or those people that are working for you, that they don't have up to you. They are not as rich or as comfortable as you. What are you doing to make life comfortable for them? That child that you see on the streets while others are in school, what are you doing to say, why are you not in school? Have you ever thought of that? Why are you not in school? Why are you with your mom at this time?
Why are you hawking certain
Why are
things?
you hawking at this time? Let us start paying attention to those things. Those are the things that make a great nation. So as a Nigerians, if we have 2 million charity organization, I don't think it's too much.
No, and we can't.
Because here is a developed country and we have thousands, if
And
not
establish that
millions.
we can. We can.
Yes, we have
Everybody finding their niche
thousands
and just
of
pushing.
charity organization. Let me quickly tip in this before we conclude. In my daycare, an elderly woman walked up to me. She just retired, and she said she kept thinking, what is she going to be doing? And she doesn't want to be staying at home. And she's wanted to rent a place. She wants to rent a place where she will just use 1 hour or 2 hours to educate people about Alpha course.
Okay.
And she looked into the community and she said, oh, she realized there's nothing like that in that community. She's already retired. She's supposed to be sleeping, wake up. But she started thinking that what can she do to help our community, young people to come together. And she came to me, she said, is your place available in the evening? I was happy. I was saying, yes, it is available. She's ready to pay for the rent. I was like, wow, at your age,
I know.
how much are you earning? You didn't, apart from her pension, but out of that pension, she still wants you, do something. And she's saying, oh, I could talk to my pastor. Maybe they will support me or in this, whatever. I was like, this is fantastic. That is not a government. That is citizen looking after citizen. So guys, let us look out for each other. I want to appreciate you so much, sis, for doing this with me. This has been fantastic. It's so good to have you. Thank you
Thank you.
so
I'm glad.
much. I really appreciate you. As I always ask all my guests, if you have to change one thing in Nigeria, what would that be?
Uh, just one thing.
Why would people always like, huh? One thing? Because we have a lot, but if you change one, I change one, then we get a better place.
I think it's to give them is the mindset. To give them
Wow. Wow.
positive
Mindset.
mindset.
That's what one of my guests said as well. Mindset is so important.
Because that
It is
affects
because the way you think,
yeah, it's who
you
you are.
know,
And
that's
what
that's the way things is gonna be. It is what you have inside that you can give.
you can only give
What you have up there that you can give. If you don't have it up there, you can't provide it.
yeah.
So mindset is so important.
Because
The way we think, the way we perceive things.
yes, it will make a
Is
big difference if
yeah.
our mindset are being renewed the right
Hmm.
thing in the right way and giving hope and
Hmm.
saying, you know what, you can do this. You can find different means of doing this. Don't just say
Hmm.
not possible, it's not possible, you stop there. So I think for me, if I was to change anything, it would be focus on yourself.
Mindset. Hmm. I like the mindset too, because mindset will take us far.
Okay, well,
Thank you so much, sis. Thank you once again. I really
so much.
appreciate you. So thank you so much, dear viewer. I really appreciate you for your time for watching this. Please do not forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. Let as many as Nigerians, lovers of Nigerians, hear about this program. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and God bless. Bye for now. Bye.